Hello, welcome to part 55 of this Airbnb clone Ruby on Rails series. And in this video, we will make the Stripe payment integration. So, at least this has happened to me that I've generally been afraid of integrating payment related things in any product. Although it is actually easy, the documentations of these providers are really good, but because it's payment related thing, uh, it adds some worry. But once you have done it like once or twice, then it becomes really easy. So even if you are not implementing this in your product, I would suggest you to just go through this video because it will make you realize how easy it can be. Okay, now I want to before we go into Stripe, there is one thing that I want to do, which is when we will make the payment. Let's say we have this credit card details and everything here, and we make the payment. We will make the booking, right? And for that we have in our database we have a schema called reservations, right? And this depends upon user ID and it cannot be null, which is correct, because if we are booking this we want user information, right? But we can access this page even when we are logged out, right? We are not signed in and we can access it. So I want to prevent this. What I want to do is, if user is not signed in, I want to log out from. I want them to sign in first. So for that, what we'll do is we have used device for authorization, right? Device gem, device authenticate user. There should be authenticate user, this one. Okay, so what we will do is we'll go to our booking controller, booking app controllers, Ruby controller, okay, booking controller, and we will add this. So what it means is these are actions, right? New is an action, index is an action, destroy is an action. So before doing any of these actions, we want user to be authenticated. So the advantage of this is refresh, it will work because we are signed in. But copy this and it will ask for user sign in. So that's the advantage. This is the first thing that I wanted to do. Now let's go to Stripe. So I've already created my account. This is just after sign up and email verification. So once you have done that, visit this URL. You will have to create a new business. So let's create a new business. Name it as Airbnb. We have this new business. Now in this, make sure that you are in test mode. This account is in test mode. We want this to be in test mode, okay? So that we can make payments, dummy payments and everything around it. So there is one disclaimer from my side. I will expose my Stripe secret key and publishable key in this video. But as soon as I publish all the Stripe related things in this video series, I'll delete that this project Airbnb, and I'll create another project and I will replace my API keys with that. The basic concept is that even if you will try to copy my API keys, it won't work for you. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. You will have to perform these steps on your own. So let's go to developers. In that we have API keys. Let's go to this, and we have two API keys, publishable and secret key. I already know that we will have to use this in our project, because this convention is not just for the API keys for Stripe. It is convention for almost a lot of different platforms which you are trying to integrate with your product. Okay, so in those cases we have to keep these API keys securely, and to do that we will have to create an environment file in our project. But before doing that, we can use a gem called environment, I think .env. Yes, .env rails. Let's open this gem. Let's add it to development and test. We don't need that in production for now, in general, because in production we will have to set up things a bit differently. We'll go to our gem file, add this in development and test .env. I'll stop my server, clear bundle. Okay, no. Now what I'll do is I'll create a .env file. So it should be at the root of the project. Let's create a .env file, and in that we can use it like this, right? So the convention that I follow, or generally a lot of people follow, is that first you have to name the product, which is a Stripe, followed by the key name, publishable key, and secret key. Publishable key, let me copy this, and let me copy my secret key also. Okay, once you have done that, the advantage of doing this entire process is that you can go to Rails console, and in that you can access these API keys using env, which stands for environment file, and in that you can mention this Stripe secret key, and you will get this skate C0A. Okay, so that's how we can use it. Exit this, clear. Now we'll focus on integrating Stripe. So for that I'm using Stripe Rails gem. So there are two kind of things. You can go to the official documentation, which is Stripe Ruby. In this, the gem that you will add is named as Stripe. That's it. Okay, and you can follow this documentation. This will also work, but I found it one of these GitHub repositories which makes it a bit more easier, and it's from Sangming Tang, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Apologies if it's incorrect. So they have made it a bit more easier, and they do keep it up to date also. It was last commit was on last year, so it's fine. This product won't change a lot, right? So we can add this gem. Let's go to here, str. So let's paste it here. Stop our, let me check actually. I'm just thinking if I should bundle this or not. Let's bundle this. And if we are going through Stripe.js to securely, we want credit card information, right? So we will have to integrate this. So for that, we'll go to our app, views, layouts. In the head of our project, we'll import this. There is one optimization, but I don't want to go into that right now. We'll do that later on. Now let's start the server bin/dev, and I think we should see something in our console. Let's refresh, and we can see you may test your stripe.js integration over HTTP. However, live must use HTTPS. That's fine. So we can sort of use it now. Let's follow next steps. I think you have to, so you mentioned our API keys, secret key and publishable key in our environment files, but we haven't used it yet. So we will have to use it, right? So you have to use it like this: config Stripe secret key and config Stripe publishable key, and it should be in application RB. So let's do this. Config application RB. Let's copy this directly. Oops. Publishable key and secret key. And instead of these values, we'll use env, the name, publishable key. Same goes here, env, and the name secret key, stripe secret key. Once that is done, in either case it is recommended that you not check this value in source control. Okay, you can verify that your API is set up and functioning properly by running this. Okay, let's try this. I think we will have to again restart our server. Let me stop this again. Clear, rake, stripe verify. Connection to stripe.com is functioning properly. That means it's working. Great. So we have integrated this. We are not missing any secret key. It's fine for now. Development, we don't need to do that. Okay, this is setting up of backend. We will do that later on. First, I want to set up the front end, and for that we can use stripe elements. Okay, we can use this in our code. So this will give us the UI which will help us making the payment. So what we can do is we can go to, where do we want this payment related information? We want this in our app, views, booking, new, and it should be under pay with. So let me paste it here. Let's refresh. Okay, let's restart our server. bin/dev. Undefined variable billing path. Okay, that's correct. We don't have a correct path here, so for now we'll just write root path, and we can see there is some information here. Okay, configuration bundles, default CSS, this. Okay, we can override this. We can override these labels also. Like if you want to show something else, instead of submit payment, we want to show something else, we can use these changes also. What we will do is we'll create a CSS file and override these. So for that, let me go to assets, style sheets, create new file and name it as stripe.css. Whenever we are creating a new CSS file, we will have to mention it in our application, Tailwind application file also. So let's mention it, import stripe.css. Now let's try to override some things. For that, I will have to inspect this. This is the entire div which doesn't have ID. Then there are card errors and stripe form. Let's go to stripe form. These are just CSS changes and I'm overriding these. So I'm just trying to do one thing. Background color black important. To override these things, I am writing important. Let's refresh and it's working. That means we can override the entire UI. Let's refresh again and it's working. So font, let's see if the font will change, and it has changed. Let's override this button. Submit payment, inspect. It's like this, right? Submit, and it's inside a stripe form. So what we can do is input type is submit. Refresh and it's working. So now we'll use the correct button code and everything, color code and everything. So for that, let's try to go to Airbnb and see how they are doing it. We might have to change a couple of things here for our project, but let's try to copy Airbnb first. Okay, it's directly confirm and pay. So we'll copy these entire things, get rid of this button. I'll paste it here. Obviously it won't work because it is CSS. It is that what do we call, uh, I'm completely Tailwind CSS, but I can try to integrate these things. Let me comment this. Instead of black, I'll write primary, and primary is equivalent to, let me check, inspect. This 255 90 95. RGB 255 90 95, and we need color to be white. Let's refresh this and we can see it's a bit better. Margin top, we don't want that. We want width. Instead of full, what I'll do is I'll add padding. Upper padding 10 px and left right to be 24 px. Refresh, looks a bit better. And what else can we get rid of? Rounded MD, right? So border radius, we'll mention it as, let's say 8 px. Will it be too much? No, it's fine. 8 px is fine. We can increase this further. And we'll use darker color. I'll just inspect the code here. Let's try this color code. Fine. We'll keep it like this only. And what else? We need margin top. So margin top can be 12 px. Refresh. Let's increase this further. Instead of 12, make it 24. We have this rounded. Do we need the border? I want to add the border. It doesn't look like that. Padding we have mentioned. Text font size 16 rem or 24. 24 is way too much. It's ERM, right? Yes. Let me write it in px only. You can check whether it's ERM or REM. Let's reduce it to 20. Nope. 16 is fine. But we can change the font. Font weight to medium. Not sure why it's not working, but it's fine. Hover. I will add these details later on. I don't want to give this much time in video. I'll share these details and you can copy it. Another thing, I'll update this label. It's a label, right? change font in CSS. Font family, right? Refresh. How does it look here? Pay with, okay, looks fine. Let's make margin. I won't give margin top here. I'll give margin top here. 16px. Let's make it bigger, 24px. And we have this credit and debit card. We want margin bottom to be 12px. Okay, now let's make these a bit different. So for that, inspect. What is this? It will be considered as a single input item, right? For that, we have what's happening. Inspect, it's card element. So what I will do is I'll add hash card element. Why is it not working? It's working, great. Border in CSS. I don't want to mention all the attributes, that's why I'm going through this. Okay, looks like this. 1px solid black, border radius around 4px, and let's refresh. And it looks good. Change hint color in input in CSS. Okay, it was loading. I thought the text was not visible, but it was just loading. Looks good to me, but I think the border in our overall project is a bit more, so we'll have to increase it to 2. And I'll write margin top as 16px because I think this is not working. Let's refresh, and it's working. And we will add padding also. 8px followed by 12px. Nope. I think it's already that only, so 12 followed by 24 for now, just for testing purposes. And it works better. So now let's make it correct. it looks like we need top is a bit more than the bottom. So what we can do is it starts with top, left, right, bottom, right? Instead of this 20px, why is it not working correctly? Let's get rid of this. And it looks center enough. And if I close this, my focus is going directly on this, so I don't want that. Let's keep it 1px only so that the focus doesn't go on that directly. And we can increase this further. Let's make it 8. Instead of black, let's write gray. And it looks good to me. So in next video we'll make the payment and we'll see how it goes. And it's fine, ground rules can be below, and we can keep this payment details first. It looks much more convenient to me. That's it. Thanks a lot. And in next video we'll make the payments and see that we can have those payments in our Stripe platform also. And once the payment gets done, we'll make a reservation also. So that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.